Hi, welcome to Stick Wheel Fly. Today what we're going to do is a composite brush craft fur baitfish. This is a non-fouling alternative with a cocktail to baitfish. So what do I have? I have two types of brush. I have black and yellow, but I make a homemade brush out of the yellow. We're going to use a little bit of this wing and flash for my flash. For the eyes, I'm using bead chain because I don't want this thing to sink like a stone and snag the bottom. My intention for this fly is saltwater inshore, snook, trout, redfish, tarpon. But this fly would be equally good chasing freshwater largemouth, smallmouth, perch. Tie it in the right colors, tie it in the right size, and you can catch anything, browns, anything. So have another sip of our cocktail. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And we're gonna tie up this fly, and then I'm gonna make an additional quick about 30 seconds of how I make the brush, and it will be part of this video. So let's change the camera angle and let's tie a fly. Okay, so we just take a little bit of the yellow craft fur that we were talking about earlier, and I'll show you. I have this gigantic sheet. I basically have this gigantic sheet from the Mystic Bay Flies. It's an old sheet. And now I'm going to take a little bit of that wing and flash in pearl, and I'm just going to take a little clump here. I can always get a little more if I need. But what's important here, as I kind of open it up a little with my fingers, what's important is that when I lay this wing and flash, that I'm actually a little bit longer than the craft fur. And that's how I can ensure that the wing and flash is going to also get captured in my dubbing loop. So once I've got that all done, I have this little homemade cardboard here for making my little homemade brushes, or it's really just a homemade dubbing loop is really what it amounts to. Now I'm going to go ahead and lock this in just like that. Pinching it nice and tight as I bring my material clip over, and I'm going to go ahead and capture that in my material clip just like that. Perfect. And now I can set that aside until we're ready for it. Alright, let's go ahead and pop this out. I guess we didn't really talk that much about materials. I'm using a B10S Stinger size 2 hook. And for thread, I'm going to use Uni 220 denier. Yep, 220 denier. I am going to put a little tiny drop of super glue on the hook. And you've seen me do this before. I like to use my thread to kind of smear it around a little, and just to make sure that I've got it really locked in, because I hate when my materials spin on the hook. Now, one thing that we are going to do on this fly that we don't normally do is when I put my dumbbell eyes on, I'm going to put my dumbbell eyes on this side. I'm going to go ahead and let this fly right hook side down. And you don't see me do that too often. And instead of using the bead chain that I used on the previous fly, This time I'm going to use these red brass. They're brass nickel with red pupils, because I did mention that the mirror lure, the 7MR, was my inspiration for this fly color wise, and that fly has red eyes, so I wanted to go to the red eyes. And when I'm happy with that, we make sure that we get these locked in nice and hard. Alright, so the first material we're going to tie on is the black craft fur. And we're going to go to an older technique that I've been using now for a little while. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to cut off a patch of craft fur, and it's going to have patch and all. Okay, now what we're going to do with this is we're going to reverse how the craft fur is sitting, and I'm going to go ahead and tie this in upside down. And lock it in nice and hard. This is a really easy fly. Super simple tie. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a good size dubbing loop. At this point you could put rubber legs in if you like. On the first fly that we tied, you can see that I used a little bit of chartreuse rubber legs. You see it hanging there? You see them hanging there? But I don't think we need to do that. So that was just a little extra on that first one. So now I'm going to come in here. We have this material in the clip that we had just made. Oh, I gotta get my thread out of the way. Might as well use the thread holder. So now I'm going to go back to my material loop. And I'm going to carefully insert. I like to put the side that's more clumped up in first. I'm going to carefully insert just like that. And I recognize this might be hard to see in the video. I do my best, but I use my finger to slightly adjust the length, because I don't want it to be really badly clumped up. And now we're gonna spin that in. Get this whole thing locked in nice and hard. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get a needle or a pick or something, and we're going to just pick out trapped fibers. And you are going to lose some fibers. It does not matter. There's plenty of craft fur on this fly. And then once you get that done, I like to give it another spin, just to make sure that it's all spun up. And I can get a needle and just get in here really good and pick out anything I can, because the more I pick out now, the better this fly is going to look later. And that's good. Okay, so now you have a choice. You can use your rotary function, or you can do this old school. And since I have this beautiful vise, I'm going to go ahead and use my rotary function. So I start the turns and I draw like all the flies that I use this kind of dubbing loop on. We just try and draw everything back, and we work our way towards the eyes. Just drawing everything back. So once we're there, and we're there now, get my thread. Gotta excuse me. Got a bunch of crapper in my mouth because I'm not smart enough to bring water. That was unintended, but it didn't matter. We're there. Gotta make sure we capture that loop well. Okay, I'm gonna trim that off. All right, now we're gonna get the needle going again, and we're gonna pick out all these trap fibers. Beautiful. Come out great. So now what I'm going to do, using my fingers, I'm just going to divide the fibers down each side as evenly as I can, just like that. Perfect. I'm going to make sure I bring my thread in front of the eyes. Now we bring our crab fur back forward. Couple loose wraps, making sure we like where everything is sitting. We do. And now we can crank this hard. Before I go too far, I like to trim off this tag. Get a little bit better scissor. Get in here and trim a little closer. Careful not to trim off my thread. And now we just clean it up using our thread. Now it's just a whip finish. Perfect. This fly came out awesome. So there's no trimming involved, there's no anything. There it is. That fly is perfect. The only other thing I'm gonna do is a little UV resin in the head, but you can easily just finish this off with a little head cement and it's done. It's fine. UV resin is not needed. I just like it. I think it makes the flies a little bit tougher. But that right there is an awesome fly. So real quick, before we end this video, quick little drop, one little drop on the opposite side. Get some little action going here. All right, so we're back. Super simple tie. You know, when you look at this fly, it looks very similar to so many other craft for baitfish flies that we've tied. But by using that brush method, by making this little homemade composite dubbing loop, we really go a long way in reducing fouling. I'm not going to go say that it's 100% foul proof, but you will get, this has reduced it a lot. You can make it as simple, like the one in the vise that we just tied. You can get a little bit more complicated, or I shouldn't say complicated, but you could put more features in, like feathers or rubber legs. You know, whatever you want, whatever colors you like. It's a great fly, super easy tie, and gets bites. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're having a cocktail with me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Good luck catching, and see you on the next video.